Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Today we're going to talk about something that I think pretty much every single one of us has dealt with. It's that little transaction we make, on a Friday or a Saturday night, and the price we end up paying for it the next day. I want to start with a little reality check, because let's be honest, nobody ever pours a drink thinking, man, I cannot wait to be absolutely exhausted tomorrow, right? That is never the plan. You don't look at a cocktail menu and say, yeah, I'll have the brain fog with a side of low motivation. We do it to relax, to socialize for the fun of it. But then there's the reality. And what's so fascinating about the research I've been looking at is that it's not really focused on the disaster scenarios. We're not talking about that head-splitting, room-spinning hangover, the kind where you swear off alcohol for the rest of your life. We're talking about something a lot more subtle and honestly, probably a lot more common. It's that quiet, drained feeling. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that feeling where the volume on your life just feels like it's been turned down a notch. You have less physical energy, sure. But it's more than that. It's a lower drive, it's fatigue, it's needing to use a massive amount of effort just to do normal things like answering an email or, doing the laundry. So what we're really unpacking today is this idea of energy theft, the concept that alcohol steals from your energy reserves in ways that are just way bigger than the initial buzz you get. And I'm not just talking about physical energy like being too tired for the gym, I mean mental energy. Emotional energy, that daily momentum that gets you through your day. Now, I know someone listening is probably thinking, okay, Mike, but I'm a social drinker. I have a couple glasses of wine, a few beers on the weekend. I don't have a problem. And that's where I have to kind of stop you. Because what the data shows is that this energy theft happens even with what we'd call normal drinking. Even if you aren't getting wasted, alcohol has this really efficient way of quietly taxing the very systems in your body that create vitality. It's like a background app on your phone that just drains the battery. You look at it, it says 40%, but it dies in 10 minutes. That's what's happening inside your body. So let's get into the mechanics of it. There are basically 5 major ways alcohol reaches into your energy bank and just makes a withdrawal. The first one is probably the most deceptive, what's called the sleep deception. And it's a deception because, honestly, it's the biggest myth out there. How many times have you heard someone say, oh, I need a drink to help me sleep? Maybe you felt that yourself. You have a drink, you feel drowsy, and you crash. So it feels like it works. And here's the trick. It does help you fall asleep faster. That's the deceptive part. But once you are asleep, the quality of that sleep just takes a complete nosedive. Specifically, we're talking about your deep sleep and your REM sleep. So, in the first half of the night, your body is all about deep sleep, physical repair. But the second half of the night, that's for REM sleep, rapid eye movement. And REM isn't just for dreaming. It's where your brain does its heavy lifting. REM is where you restore your mood, where you consolidate memories, sharpen your focus, build up emotional resilience. Think of it like the nightly maintenance crew for your mind. When alcohol is in your system, it suppresses REM sleep. It basically blocks the maintenance crew from getting in. So you might look at your clock and think, hey, I was unconscious for 7 hours, I slept. But your brain feels like it only got 4. And that is the biological reason for that flat feeling the next morning. Your body's okay, but your brain is it's offline, sluggish. You were unconscious, yes, but you weren't restoring. It's a huge distinction, but it goes deeper. Which brings us to the second way alcohol steals your energy, and it's a bit of a paradox. Let's look at the stress response. Think about why we drink. To unwind, right? To relax after a hard day. And for that first hour, yeah, it works. Alcohol is a depressant, it slows things down. But what you're doing, biologically, is setting yourself up for a massive spike in stress later that night. It's called the rebound effect. See, your body is always trying to find balance, homeostasis. So when you pour depressant into it, your body eventually panics and says, whoa, we're too sedated here, we need to wake things up. So as your liver is processing that alcohol, usually around 3 or 4 in the morning, your body releases a flood of stimulants to counteract it. We're talking about cortisol, your main stress hormone. Your nervous system, which was sedated, suddenly snaps into high alert. And this is the classic 3 a.m. wake up. If you've ever bolted awake in the middle of the night after drinking, heart racing, anxious thoughts just looping, that's this mechanism. Your body's in a state of chemical panic. And here's the energy cost. Even if you fall back asleep, your body is now in recovery mode. It's fighting a battle. And fighting battles burns energy. So you wake up with half a tank, exhausted. Okay, so let's move to the third one. This is one we think we know, but we usually get it wrong. Hydration and what I call the triage system. Everyone knows alcohol dehydrates you. Drink water between beers, we've all heard it. But what that dehydration actually does to your energy is more than just a dry mouth. Even mild dehydration can cause serious fatigue and cognitive delay. And what's really interesting here is how this connects to aging. A lot of us, in our 30s or 40s, we wake up feeling heavy and think, man, I'm just getting old. But the reports suggest it's often not just age. It's fluid and electrolyte loss. You aren't decrepit, you're just dried out. But even more important than water is blood sugar. The roller coaster. Your liver's main job is regulating glucose, your blood sugar, to keep your energy steady. But your liver has a priority list. And alcohol, because it's a toxic, goes right to the top. So when alcohol is present, the liver basically shouts, everybody stop, deal with this threat first. It completely pauses glucose regulation. And what happens next is this chaotic cycle. Your blood sugar dips. Then it spikes. And then, inevitably, it crashes. And the symptoms of a blood sugar crash: shakiness, intense cravings for greasy food, irritability, and of course, sudden overwhelming fatigue. That morning fog isn't just the alcohol leaving your system. It's very often a hypoglycemic crash. You're running on empty. So we've covered sleep, stress, and blood sugar, but there's another heist going on, the nutrient bane heist. Energy isn't just calories, you see. It's chemistry. It's cellular. Your body needs specific nutrients to convert food into power. They're like spark plugs in an engine. And alcohol is a thief that steals those spark plugs. Specifically, the B vitamins. Let's just look at two. First, vitamin B1. It's essential for brain energy, mental clarity. When you're low on B1, you get that brain fog, that mental slowness. Alcohol just burns through it. Then there's B12. That supports nerve function and stamina. The problem is alcohol messes with your gut's ability to even absorb B12. So you're blocking the very thing that helps you maintain stamina. On top of that, you've got oxidative stress. Basically, processing alcohol creates a ton of chemical waste, and your body uses antioxidants to clean it up. But it burns through your supply really fast. The material I was reading mentioned recovery supplements, things with ingredients like NAC and acetylcysteine. And NAC is interesting because it helps your body produce something called glutathione. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. It's the foreman of the cleaning crew. So the idea is you're helping the systems that are being actively drained. You're putting deposits back in the bank. Now, I want to pivot to something that I think feels personal for a lot of us. The age factor. If you're over 30, you know exactly what I'm about to say. You just can't drink like you did when you were 22. Yeah. Biology always wins, and it's not because you've gotten weak. There are actual physiological reasons for this. First, you have less body water as you age, so alcohol is more concentrated in your system. Second, your liver actually processes it more slowly. The assembly line has slowed down. Third, your sleep is just naturally more fragile as you get older, so the disruption from alcohol feels way more intense. And finally, let's be real. Life stress is generally higher. Your recovery capacity is lower to begin with. There's a line in the text that sums it up perfectly. One drink becomes 2 days of fog. That's that compound interest of fatigue. And that's why the math just stops making sense for so many of us. So what do we do? I mean, is the message here that you can never have a glass of wine again? No, not at all. The message is about awareness and about strategy. It's about an approach called protecting the baseline. I really like that framing. It's not about being extreme. It's about defending your energy levels. So let's run through the toolkit. The actual strategies incorporate alcohol-free days. Sounds simple, but it lets your system totally be set. Eat protein before you start drinking, not just food protein specifically. It helps stabilize that blood sugar roller coaster. Hydrate early and while you're drinking. Match every alcoholic drink with a glass of water. It helps a ton. Prioritize sleep after a night out. If you drink Friday, don't plan a 7 a.m. hike on Saturday. Protect that next morning. Support nutrient recovery. Put back what the alcohol took out. Replenish those B vitamins and antioxidants. And number 6, avoid stacking drinking nights back to back. That's the real killer. Give your body at least a 24-hour window to repair itself. So I want to wrap this up by going back to that feeling we started with, that quiet, drained feeling. The real takeaway is that alcohol takes so much more than just your night. It takes your next morning. It takes your focus, your motivation, your mood. But I think the most empowering part is this. If you have been feeling tired lately, if you feel like you're wading through mud just to get your work done, it might not be that life is getting harder. It might not be that you're just getting old. It might simply be that your recovery is getting interrupted. And the reports show that energy is one of the first things to return when alcohol becomes less central in your life. It comes back fast. And once you feel that energy again, that clarity, you stop chasing the buzz as much. Not because you have to, but because the alternative, just feeling good, feeling capable, feels so much better. You stop chasing the escape because finally, you're awake for your own life. And being fully awake for your life, well, that feels better than any drink. Thanks for listening today. I hope this gave you some perspective. Protect your baseline, and I'll catch you next time. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor. Leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.